Welcome back to the program. What do they say the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Well, to the people out there in California, if you vote for and support incompetent people, sadly, you're going to get incompetent results. And yes, even deadly ones. But not all of the blame is to be placed upon woke ideologies, although a lot of it is, and climate change, which of course a ton of it is. But it's also more than just Gruesome Newsom. It's more than just Karen Basshole. It's more than just the DEI programs and of course the fire chief and everybody else blaming one another. But there's somebody else that is definitely to blame here. And the person that made everybody divert funds away from fire safety. And that is the illegitimate Biden regime. Why do I say that? Because they opened the floodgates with illegal immigrants all around the country, and a majority of them landed in the sanctuary state of California. And not only that, which state out of all of them spends the most amount of money on illegal immigration? Well, I think we can stop the guessing games because we can see the results of the answers. It is clearly California. So let's talk about some raw data, okay? This is from the FAIR group, F-A-I-R, the Federation for American Immigration Reform. California spends, on average, $30 billion, that's right, with a capital B, $30 billion annually on illegal immigration and related costs. These costs include, of course, educating the children of these illegal immigrants, undocumented children, obviously, the health care for these children and adults and many others, law enforcement, of course, to wrangle around these illegal aliens, even though they don't even do that. It's just catch and release in California. And, of course, public assistance. How many times have you seen somebody that maybe they're down on their luck and they're a working class person, they work hard for their living and everything else, and they get on, temporary welfare, whatever it may be, and they get X amount of dollars, it's usually not a lot, and then all of a sudden you see these illegal aliens coming into not just California, but the entire country, and they're getting $10, $12, $14, $15, $16,000 a month. The more anchor babies they pop out, the more money they get, right? And of course, you got to give diapers, and you've got to give medical treatment, and you've got to give free college and education and all the other things for these people. So what do? They get free housing. They get to live in nicer, posh neighborhoods, and they get stipends from the state government in the forms of $12,000, $13,000, $14,000. That is where the money is going, okay? That is where the money is going. And according to a recent chart on this, it breaks down like this. So you have nearly all of the expenditures, 12.3 billion of it, goes to education. Education of illegal alien children that should not be here, that don't speak our language, and sadly we have to educate them, okay? Next, 2.1 billion just in hiring fluent Spanish-speaking teachers and also other language teachers. 2.1 billion of that is to teach these children and hire specialty teachers so that they can teach them in their language, which is ridiculous because we should force them to speak English. English is the national language of the United States of America, folks. Now, it gets worse. You also have medical care. medical care at $4.1 billion in medical care. So, illegal alien gets hurt, they get into an accident, they, whatever happens, their medical care is covered. They get COVID, they get sick, it's covered. Not you, the taxpayer. No, you have to pay insurance premiums. And guess what? Your insurance premiums skyrocket. Why? Because you're paying for people that are illegal and you're paying for their health care. You're paying for it. Why are California's taxes so high? Because the border is wide open for now. And guess what? $30 billion is going to pay for illegal immigration. So you want to know where some of this funds was diverted to? It was diverted to paying for illegal immigration. That's why your fire hydrants are empty, idiots. It's also having to do with your moronic woke policies of hiring people that are degenerates that have absolutely no skill set nor qualifications for any of the jobs in which they are bestowed upon. So let's break it down. How do you feel sorry for people that continuously vote for the demise of their own lives and livelihoods and their states? Because feelings are better than logic to a lot of these idiots. Okay? It gets worse. Let's see. Public assistance services, $800 million. Administration of justice functions, $4.4 billion more, and general governmental services, which is probably your NGOs, your non-governmental organizations, your flights back and forth from Colombia to Los Angeles to bring these illegals in, to housing them illegally in, hotels, really nice hotels sometimes. Look at New York. There's another devastating situation. They're third on the list. Texas is second. They're third on the list as far as expenditures on illegal immigration. And they're only third because Texas is such a darn big state. Let's see. What else do we got here? $3.5 billion in other expenditures such as law enforcement to fight against illegal immigration, which doesn't make any sense because they're allowing the illegals all over the place. That's why illegal aliens can take over apartment buildings and things like that. Because the people that are supposed to be there, that are supposed to protect the people, can't. Because their hands are tied due to the liberal policies. So California is a tinderbox right now because of liberal policies. And I want to say macro, not micro, macro liberal policies, as in the federal government opening the borders and allowing these people into the country, which puts a strain on our resources. And many of these states, like California, you would think that they would have cut, lesbian basket weaving 101 classes, yoga, and Pilates, or whatever else that they do, or maybe stop funding, these other woke things like transgender surgeries and puberty blockers and, Black Lives Matter and all these other crazy things. You'd think that they would have been intelligent enough to say, well, gee, it's fire season starting. Maybe we ought to have some water in our fire hoses. Maybe we shouldn't cut $100 million because it's not just the 17 from Bass. It's $100 million that Gavin signed off on. Not to mention Gruesome Newsom closed down not one, not two, not even three, but 4 dams. Why? Because he was placating for votes to the Native Americans. It is these stupid policies that have led to what is happening right now in the state of California. And people need to be aware of this. And I don't care. I'm going to shout at the rooftops to make sure that people understand that you are voting for your own demise, death, and destruction. What else do you need to know? You know what the median income is in Pacific Palisades, it's $180,000. That's what it is. And that means that there's many, many more people that are making a hell of a lot more than that. But it's $180,000. You know what it was in Western North Carolina? It was about $52,000. And those people, guess what? Those people are still in the mud. Those folks have their houses swimming away. And FEMA and the federal government said, nah, no thank you. You're all Republicans. You're all going to vote for President Trump. We're just going to let you die. What's that? You have a sign in front of your house that says, Trump 2024? No, skip that one. Oh, what's that? Nope, sorry, Mayorkas says, right? We don't have any money for FEMA. But yet the dementia patient screams at the top of his lungs, oh, don't worry about it, California. On the way out, wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm going to make sure you're all whole again. I'm going to guarantee you 100% that the money is going to come from FEMA, which miraculously all of a sudden now has money. Didn't have it for Western North Carolina, no. But now all of a sudden it has it for California, right? This is the civil war that the left has been perpetrating against the rest of us. They have done this to themselves as well, but they have used class envy, class warfare, us versus them mentality. I talk about it in my book. I talk about all of the class warfare. They're stuck in their ivory towers, in their Pacific Palisades homes, not worrying about anything else. Walking around the homeless people that they allow because of their high taxes, because of their sanctuary city policies. And now all of a sudden it's biting them in the ass. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to feel sorry for these people. And by the way, most of them, not all of them, but most of them, this is their third, their fourth, their fifth, their sixth home, okay? This is not their main house. Yes, some of them, sadly, yes it is. And here's the other thing. The houses that are right on the water, if your fire hydrants are dry, why on earth? I'm not a fire person. I'm not a fireman. I've never been a fireman. I never played one on TV. But why wouldn't you have at the fire departments backup pumps that you could just, maybe just drop into the ocean and use the water from the ocean, hook up the hoses and spray the houses so that they don't burn? The Pacific Palisades folks and Malibu and the rest of these people, why don't you all have metal roofs instead of wooden roofs when you're in wildfire areas? I don't know. It just seems to me that a lot of dumb things happened in order to facilitate what is transpiring, what is unfolding. It's sick. It's sick and it's sad. And now what's happening? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. The rich, the extremely wealthy, are now holed up into different hotels all around Tinseltown, okay? That's what's happening right now. Interesting article is what's happening right now. You have LA millionaires now fighting over hotel suites. This is what's happening. It was the setting for Faye Dunaway's famous post-Oscars poolside shoot, the inspiration behind the Eagles' classic song Hotel California, as well as the place where Elizabeth Taylor honeymooned not once, but 6 times. But now, the Salmon Pink Hotel has taken on a very different role, transformed into a temporary evacuation station for the city's most affluent refugees. The record-breaking fire raging through Los Angeles has forced 130,000 people to evacuate their homes. The official death toll is 10, but is expected to rise, and an estimated $40 billion of damage has already been caused. Many of those ordered to evacuate lived in the upscale Pacific Palisades neighborhood. Celebrities including Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal, Adam Brody, and many others have reportedly already lost their homes. While many of them were forced to evacuate, sought shelter at homes of relatives or public shelters, those who can afford it had flocked to the $1,000 a night 5-star Beverly Hills hotel. You know what else is also happening? Because I'm hearing from people in California. These major stars that live in Pacific Palisades and they live in, Malibu and on the water and everything else. Guess what? Their assistants, their publicists, their booking agencies, their handlers, their makeup people, they don't. They live in Hollywood. They live, in Anaheim. They live in, Studio City. They live in some areas that are still nice, but not nearly as nice. And guess what's happening right now? The Hollywood stars that lost their homes, where do you think they're staying if they're not in the hotels? They're with their publicists. They're with their agents. They're with their handlers. They are staying. These Hollywood now refugees are literally staying in the homes of the people that work for them. Let that sink in while I read the rest of this. Dog bags and laundry baskets replaced designer suitcases on the luggage carts lining the entrance to the hotel's lobby on Thursday as guests dressed in tracksuits walked their pets in circles around the hotel, known to locals as the Pink Palace. Among those who escaped to the hotel hideaway was actress Jamie Lee Curtis, who emerged from the labyrinth of exclusive bungalows wearing all black with her fluffy white dog. The night before, the Oscar-winning actress 66 fought back tears as she described the devastation being caused by the Pacific Palisades fire, which tore through her neighborhood. Miss Curtis's home is thought to be intact, but she and her family pledged $1 million to help those impacted by the blaze. Acclaimed Hollywood executive Eric Feig, the former co-president of Lionsgate's Motion Pictures Group, was also among those who had flocked to the hotel. Mr. Feig, his wife Susanna, their children, Ellie 20, Alex 15, and their 3 dogs decamped to the Beverly Hills Hotel on Tuesday after seeing smoke billowing near the Pacific Palisades home. They grabbed their passports, their birth certificates, a bag of photographs, and some dog food before bundling into their Teslas and Bentleys and to escape the blaze. Then it says, Mr. Feig, who helped create the Oscar-winning film La La Land, The Hurt Locker, and the Hunger Games series, was glued to their residence' security cameras the night to check to see if their homes were safe. Sadly, they were not. And now what's happening are, it feels like it's apocalyptic. It's such a beautiful neighborhood, he told the Telegraph, still in his workout clothes after visiting the hotel gym. I've lived there for about 11 years, and as soon as I crest the hill and see the view of the hills, honestly, even after 11 years, there's like a little stop in my heart. It's just like, wow, I can't believe that I live here. This is so beautiful. However, all of that is now gone. Then they're talking about hookups. So now these Hollywood people are hooking up with firemen, first responders, things like that. I'm also hearing reports that they're fighting over who's going to get the best suites. They're all drunk as skunks down at the bar, at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Chateau Marmont, all these other different places in California that I really don't know about because I don't frequent California and the haughty-tawdiness of it all. But that's what's happening right now. They are basically not learning anything. They're going to their posh hotels. They're having Ozempic, by the way, sent to their rooms because, God forbid they gain a pound while they lose their homes, right? It's unbelievable. They haven't learned anything. They're so elitist. They're so pretentious. And sadly, the people that are really suffering are not the ones in Pacific Palisades on the top of the hill. It's the ones underneath them. It's the neighborhoods around them at the bottom of the hill. Those peasants down below, as they have their nose stuck up in the air. Well, karma's a bitch. And when you vote for stupid people, when you vote for people based on a feeling or an ideology, you're going to get the results you're getting. You're going to get incompetent people that can't protect you, that won't protect you, and when they find out that they are wrong, will never, ever take responsibility. So to those people out there in California, and to those liberals in Hollywood and the elites out there, perhaps you ought to start thinking for yourself for once instead of following the crowd And if you do rebuild your homes, which most of you won't, here's a little tidbit of information. You might want to put a metal roof around it. You might want to put, I don't know, maybe an emergency sprinkler system around your house so that you don't rely on DEI rejects and idiots to make sure that there's water in your hoses. Good luck. Bernstein out. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.